Have you seen the video where there's one of those toys that you're talking about,
Yes.
and they have all the different shapes, but the round shape is bigger than all the other ones? And so the guy just takes the round one and puts it in, and then he takes the square one and it also fits in the round one. It
Yes.
takes the triangle one and starts putting
Yes.
oh, put it in the circle one, right? So I want these guys to be well rounded.
He gets one high in the air. Left field. This one's got a chance. And let's go on a cowhide. Joyride. Sound the horn. The RailCats clear the yard.
Hello, RailCats fans, and welcome back to the RailCats Talk podcast. He's Chuck Polarek. I'm Kyle Svetich. Um, yeah, Chuck. This is turning out bad. I'm sorry.
Oh,
I can't hold it in anymore. This is
you're
not
such a
good.
negative Nancy. Oh,
Um, we have a homestand. We lose both series, one against Fargo and the other against Chicago, which both series I guess necessarily it could have gone either way, except the last game on Sunday,
yeah.
which was just the dogs. Just yeah, they're just a team that can hit.
Just
And
two bad innings, and we just couldn't get out of it.
I
That was
mean,
bad innings, couldn't get out of it.
it was a
I
great
mean,
day. Great day to bring the dogs. Um,
you disappeared. You didn't say bye or nothing. I just looked at him. Where the hell did he go?
Oh yeah, we the dogs were getting restless. She was getting restless, so I said let's go out to the outfield. So we sat in the right field outside of the berm in right field there. So I mean, you're getting your ear talked off by the one of the dogs guys. So I let you chew your piece, and you, you know. You see,
Yeah.
the issue was is the reason we got blown out was because Chuck here was wearing a dog's polo, a Hawaiian shirt polo, and then he secretly put on his host family shirt over the top of it, but
No, I
secretly.
took it off and
Oh,
put
you
my
took it
Jake
off. Okay,
on.
well,
Yeah.
that's
I,
what.
I told I told Stu, the pitching coach for the Chicago Dogs, that if we won game two, that I would wear the shirt for game three, and we won. So it's like,
Well,
all right,
I mean, we
that's
walked.
yeah, we did.
We won in walk off fashion.
I know, and it was like you think about it, and it's like, okay, so 2-2, and we bring out Nate in the ninth inning, and we've done this before twice. But I believe both of those were away. I can't remember. Um,
Yes,
were they?
I
Okay.
believe so.
Might not have been. Who knows?
Yeah.
Bringing both, those two games turned out miserable. So we start out by bringing out Nate, and you could hear a collective, oh boy, from everybody. And then Nate holds it down 1, 2, 3. It's like,
Hmm.
what the heck? So he had his stuff, and then all of a sudden it was got a guy on first base. LG bunts him to second, and we switched guys, runners, and they walk Basabe, so they have a
Hmm.
guy in first and second, and to bring up with one out, Jose Contreras batting a whopping like 160, 170, and thinking they're going to get him out. And he puts a bullet over the shortstop, and that's the end of it. I mean, that was fantastic.
Jose's batting 158. So
Yeah. So every once in a while, you play with a loaded gun, you get shot.
yeah,
That's,
I
I mean,
don't
so
fully.
that was good. A couple other things that occurred during the homestand. We picked up a guy named what, Eric Meza.
Eric Meza and shipped him
Yeah.
in
And
and shipped him right out.
yep. That was very quick. Um, and we signed another guy, Donovan,
Yep.
and he played second base, and I don't believe he's got a single hit. Um, and so, I don't know that that's necessarily an upgrade for us. And also, I love Peralta's ability to hit the ball and to get on base and
Yep.
all of that. His fielding, um, he gets to a ball, but instead of stopping and throwing with some power, he wants to sports center it
Yeah.
and the the jump throw, and he doesn't have the strength to do that. And so we're getting either bad throws to first or
Mhm.
very slow throws to first, and guys are getting on base. So that's got to change. Um, I don't think that Peralta's necessarily a shortstop. Maybe he's a second baseman. Something like that can fly a little bit better at second base than it can at short. Um, but we're definitely in need of somebody in the middle of our infield that can stop the ball and they can hit the ball. So I know there's some guys out there that have been released that are could potentially be pretty good pickups. Just hope that Lamar's seeing that and making that happen.
Going to Peralta's point, I mean, he is someone that has range at short, but I just don't think it's like one of those like he's overconfident, right? So he's like, I think that I can make this running backhand Jeter type throw, and you got this throw that hits just past the pitcher's mound and it dribbles to first base, or he's not stopping. I remember that with the dog. I think it was on Sunday. He could have stopped, took a step, and throw the ball hard, and he's just not doing that. Um, I mean, right now, so we were in the span where we had a handful of people that were batting high threes. Everyone's starting to kind of come down. The only one, here's a shocker for you. Do you want to take a guess right now who is leading in batting average?
Catcher
Our new
Noriega.
catcher. Yes, Andres Noriega is batting at 364. Who would have thunk that we would have a catcher that can actually hit the ball?
Well, you say that, but we put in Coop and he winds up getting a double. Uh, and then hits the ball, I think two other times really hard. Like what the heck? So, it's I'm I don't expect Cooper to hit home runs, so it was nice to see Noriega hit a home run. Um, but I said this at the beginning of the season, before the season started. I really believe that Cooper needs somebody in there to kind of mentor him a little bit,
Mm-hmm.
and that he's got the arm down. He's pegging people out on the base path like crazy, right? But he needs somebody to kind of help him with the batting. And I really think that, I said this to you a couple of times during the games. I think these guys are listening to the podcast because we mentioned something and all of a sudden they're doing it. I see Cooper standing up there at the plate. I see him scrunching down. The only thing he's not doing is working on the protecting the plate. Just foul the ball off if it's a strike. So you don't take the strike out, but be willing to let it hit you in the thigh or hit you in the arm, um, and get your walk, get on base, find some way to scrap to get on base, um, and I think he's working on that. I mean, it's all in all, I saw some good things. I saw some bad things. I guess the thing I want to walk away with is, we go to these games, and I think it's blaring obvious the things that we need to work on. Whereas last year there were so many different things that sprouted up so many different times. There's so many leaks in the boat that it was like, which one do we work on? There's so many of them, and I don't think that there's that many this time. So, we need to shore up the center infield. We need definitely somebody at second base that's going to hit the ball. And, we need to, I got to have Swazi playing first base. And if you can find somebody else to play first base and have him DH, then that would be great too. Didn't see much of Nick Holch.
I think he got
Past,
hurt.
yeah,
I'm pretty
so
sure he got hurt.
if there's an injury there, then because he started to get hot
Yeah.
uh, there, so he's definitely being missed. LG hits a home run.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's when we didn't really need a home run, but it was nice to see him get some power. He had quite a few shots that were like, man, so close.
Yeah,
There.
think it
So
was in the 2-0, the first game. Um he had a I think he hit a ball to center field that went like I think 103 off the bat. Like he's
yeah,
hitting it. I mean, it's one of those situations where he's getting the hits. It's just unfortunate that it's going to people. Like it's
right,
just one of those
right.
like damned be, damned you don't kind of situations.
Yep, yep. Um, really walking away from it saying, hey, there's definitely some places for improvement, but there's not a lot that needs to be done. So I just hope that Lamar is trying to find us a good second baseman, perhaps trying to find us a good first baseman that can bring some power, and whatever else you got to do.
Yeah,
Pitching, I think that Pinto's hurt. He hasn't given us much this year. He's really been struggling. I think we got one or two good innings out of him so far, but the rest of it's been a struggle. He took himself out yesterday. Um, and that, so I was, as we were watching the game yesterday, I was sitting there shaking my head because, the one, I'm going to say one of the bright spots we have in that pitching staff is Jonathan Martinez.
hmm
And here you've got bases loaded with one out. And, Pinto takes himself out because he's injured.
yeah,
And you bring in Jonathan. And I was shaking my head saying, this is not the position that you would want to bring Jonathan in because, one, he's not warmed up, even though he does get the unlimited amount of time to warm up because of the injury. But you're also throwing him in there with bases loaded and one out, and these guys have been hot. So it's like, okay, what are you going to do? Don't think that's a good situation. But Jonathan brought it again,
yeah.
got us without giving up any runs. And I mean, it was like, okay, all right. Uh, then I guess while he was walking off the mound, he was running his mouth. And everybody was like, dude, we're losing like 22,000 to two, not really the time to run your mouth. Um,
Yeah, because I mean that was in the ninth, and I mean the thing is he did give up a walk that did score a run, but it didn't
right.
count towards him.
Yep.
So it's one of those like where we talk this kind of praise a little bit of like, oh, he hasn't given up a run and whatever the case may be, but like I understand that base load is not his situation, but he did walk a guy in. He did give up a run. It's just not going to go against his ERA. It's not going to show up in the stat column. That's not taking anything away from Jonathan. I mean, I think he's a hell of a pitcher. I think he lives for those kind of moments. He lives up to the challenge. I think that's why Lamar calls for him. But it was also one of those situations where at the time I was sitting in right field, and you know this is the communication thing that we talk about. Lamar goes out there to see. I understand that you don't have a walkie-talkie, but like Lamar's pointing to the outfield, and everyone's going, "What? Who do you want? Like, what do you mean? Like, who are you pointing at?" And then
Right.
it's a conversation that LG they hear at the end Martinez, and he turns, he goes Martinez, and Martinez is like, "What? Why am I going? Like,
Right.
he should not. You do not use him in that situation. I understand you already burned through a Denson Hall, but use someone else. Like you don't have to. You don't use your good guys in that situation where you've taxed your bullpen so much because these games that they have been in, the Dogs are a team that can hit the ball. Like it's surprising that we didn't have more of what we had on Sunday. What on Friday and Saturday. I mean, Friday the offense just wasn't there. I think the Dogs had 15 something odd hits and they only scored 2 runs. Like
Right.
it's one of those situations where they're gonna get their cookies. It's just a matter if you're gonna shut them down. And it just shows, I know you still keep in contact with Villar a little bit, and he was telling you about, how well the infield is, like how good the defense is.
He said I didn't realize how good our infield was. Our fielders were, and yeah, you know uh
I
that's
you even
important.
You even take the double play that Basabe turned on Sunday, where he's laying on his butt, throws the ball over, and they're able to turn the double play, which I'm sitting out of my mind going, that's a hell of a play. Like, Sports Center all night.
Yes. Those are the plays that you can Sports Center. Not the plays like we were getting from Elvis where, yes, it's great that you were able to chase down the ball, but your jump and throw, off balance throw, and then the next one's a jump off balance throw, and the next one, and you're not getting these guys out. That's not a Sports Center play.
No, I agree. And I realistically, again, what is the weak point of this team? It's the bottom of the order.
Yeah.
And I mean, Peralta, I fully agree. He should be playing. I think we've given him enough run at short. I mean, he has, like I said, he has good range. I just don't think he's shortstop smart, right? You have to be, you have to know, you have to run it, and you have to understand it. You know, getting a ball to you and trying to turn a double play when you should just go to one, or going to two when you should go home with, or just something, or going home when you should just go to one and just sacrifice, whatever the case may be. Like, I think he's better off at second, where you don't have to make those rush decisions. But again, who do you have? And I think if Hoover does come back, I think he's your shortstop, and you move Peralta over to second. But at this point in time, Hoover's not playing. And this is the point where you have to dig into the bag of, well, look how good my bullpen is. Maybe I have to sacrifice someone out of the bullpen and trade with someone in the Atlantic League, trade within the league, do something to get yourself a second baseman that can hit the ball and at least have a batting average over 250.
I think there's quality guys out there to play second base that are available without a trade. That you can pick up. I think it's going to might come down to money.
Yeah, I just
I was sitting there thinking this, Valera is not doing anything right now, and man, would it make a difference to have Valera at first base right now?
Oh yeah, but I'm sorry, but our first base is not our problem. You have Swazi, you have Contreras. If you want to, for what Contreras is, what he does batting wise, he's a heck of a glove person. Like, I'll give him that. Like, he can play a mean first base with the glove. But you already have Swazi. I don't think you have an issue at first base. Your second base is still a hole that you still have to fill. And going out and getting a Valera doesn't solve your problem. That's like saying, you know what, our bullpen's really good right now. Let's get another bullpen pitcher. Like, that just doesn't work.
You should always be looking for a better. You should be looking to upgrade everywhere. And
yeah,
I'm just saying that you go for the upgrade.
But let me sand down the hole I just fixed while the other one's gushing over. Let me fine tooth it real quick and just let this one keep gushing. That's really fixing the problem, Chuck.
You can multitask, right?
Obviously, we can't.
I've said over and over again, second base is definitely an issue. I agree with you. Shortstop is an issue. We should be looking for a good shortstop, move Peralta over to second base, call it a day, right? Or you find a good shortstop and a good second baseman, you move Peralta to DH. Having two extra guys is not a problem. It's definitely a good thing to be dealing with. But you have to free up two spots to make that happen. And I have a couple ideas of two guys that we could do away with. And send them to, Frontier League or something. But, it's, yes, there's a couple of second basemen that it's like, okay, these guys can make a difference. Just hope that he's finding them.
I mean, he killed it with Swazi and Richards. Like,
yeah.
But again, those were people that you took from the Atlantic League that were backing up and weren't being successful because they had limited opportunities. But then you go out and you get Donovan Williams, which we know what he's done in the American Association with the RailCats, and it's not like he was highly sought out after. I mean, he's a local person.
Gave him a shot. I think that's what Lamar's doing.
And then that's fine.
Give him a shot. See if there's something there. Give him a couple of games. If there's not, then we move on. there's no harm in doing that. I don't see, not this time of the year. There's no harm in doing that.
No, but to a certain you say that, but all of a
But
sudden
you
you see
can't
that
be far behind like
you
we
start
are.
seeing the standings and they start going like this, and you're not progressing anywhere. So like, let's bring in a bucket with a hole in it, right? To replace a bucket with a hole in it. You're not fixing anything. Like at least give me something with some kind of like I don't hot glue it or something. It's not gonna maybe a long term fix, but at least you duct taped it. I don't know.
So who do you bring in? Who do you see you bring in for a situation like this? I got a couple ideas.
I I would honestly maybe you already hit the nail on the head with two people that were backing up in the Atlantic League. See if you have some kind of connection there. And if you have to make a trade, you have to make a trade. And right now, I honestly think, as much as I hate to say, because I like the guy, you use Nate Alexander as a piece. I mean, he has stuff. He's good. He has the stuff, but outside of everyone that you have, I don't know who else you would give up at this point because I'm not risking anyone else. Like you know what you're gonna get with Nate.
Right.
So I
I don't. So if you're talking about trading somebody, um, we said it before. I said the upside of trading Nate is he's got history, and he just needed to warm up. So maybe he's back onto his Nate, where he was at last year. You've got a couple of good starting pitchers. There's options if you want to trade somebody. But that being said, I don't think that you need to. I think there's talent out there that's available. Um, and you've got a Pinto that could be put on the DL on injury. You've got second base that needs to be freed up, a spot there. Uh, there's options. There's options. Um, I just hope that, hey, to
I,
me, I could see you grabbing somebody. It would be great to hand over a good pitcher for a Brantley Bell. That would be fantastic. You
yeah,
know,
I mean
Something
I
like that. Chicago ain't going to release him and give him away, but I'd love to have that guy on the team.
oh yeah that's what I'm saying. I think in order to fill the hole that this is the thing is like I understand if someone goes on an injured list or someone's starting to cool off, like maybe trying to pluck someone and seeing, but like you already know what the hole is, so like at this point it should be trying to fix that hole
I
and
agree.
going out and you have a piece. You have to trade a piece to get a piece. Like or unless you know what, you give people uh, a series at a time and you keep digging yourself a hole. And next thing you know, we're gonna hit the end of June, going into July, and we're gonna be in the same scenario where Brandon was talking to Brandon. He goes, "We're on pace to win 25 games this year. That is 5 games worse than last year." So to me, doing what you're doing right now is not working. So you have to do something. Bringing in a guy that doesn't bat over 200 to replace another guy that doesn't bat over 200 doesn't sound logical to me. It kind of sounds a little bit insane. And what is the definition of insanity, Chuck?
Oh, listening to this podcast.
Yeah, listen to this podcast, but doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. We're at that point. All right, we're what 4 years, 3 years, 4 years into this regime, and it's the same thing over and over. I think I'm personally going insane, Chuck. I think I personally am.
Oh, parenthood will do that to you.
That's yeah. The child is not even born yet, and I'm already
I
going off
know
the
you're
deep
already
end.
doing so. Yep, I know. I know.
Uh,
Uh, we got a lot to look forward to. We do. I think that Lamar pulls some strings. I'm seeing these other teams do it. Seeing these other teams release pitching, and it seems like they're more focused on pitching and stuff. I have seen some outfielders and some infielders get released, and it's like, oh, that's interesting. And then you see this one. You brought this up today. Kansas City picks up no go, and I'm like, I thought for sure we weren't going to have to deal with this guy this year. I was hoping we wouldn't have to deal with this guy this year, and here it is. another disappointment in the American Association.
And you know what the funny part? I thought maybe it was a desperation, but I forgot how good Kansas City is doing right now. That's not a desperation move. That's
No,
you know what?
often. That's all they're doing. They're
Well,
just they're
Fargo's beating them right now, so
wow.
7-2. So maybe that's a
Fargo's another team that I'd love to snag some players from.
yeah. I agree. There's one guy that always seems that he comes to Steelyard and does damage that we may or may not have had in the team. A while back,
Yeah,
he may be a local boy
yeah,
that could help revenue, maybe bring some fans
could
into the
definitely bring some.
stadium.
I don't know if
I
anybody like
don't.
that.
You're right. I don't know anyone like that. If anyone does know who we're talking about, you just leave that in the comments down below. That's fine.
Right.
We'll catch you on the flip side on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. And again, here's the thing, Chuck. You know, we sit there and we complain. You know, the team's not doing
complain.
well. I complain, whatever the case may be. You're right.
Right.
The team is not doing well. Well, you got to call a spade, okay? All right. But here's the thing: is if the offense can figure it out how to be, if they could be like they were Game 3 against Fargo to win the series. No, they didn't win the series. My bad. They didn't.
No.
To avoid the sweep. My bad. To avoid the sweep.
What fantasy world are you living in here?
There's too many teams that are red, right? Red and white. So I got Fargo and Winnipeg screwed up. Okay, that happens. Anyways, the point behind it is the offense was rolling, right? You score 9 runs, you're rolling, you're feeling good about yourself, and but there's no the train doesn't, the momentum just doesn't go. It just stops. Like
Right.
then you get shut out against Chicago. It's just like, what are we doing? Then you walk off Chicago. It's like, all right, there's some momentum. You're battling. You get the 2-run lead, and it slowly falls apart. And you're like, why did this happen? Now again, Chicago's not a team. You can play with fire like that. Like you can't score 2 runs and think you're going to win every game. Like Chicago's meant to score. They're going to score runs. There's a reason why they're 3rd in the division. They know how to score runs. They're 8-2 in the last 10. Like they've been on fire. So it's one of the highlight of the team is obviously the pitching. The pitching is phenomenal to watch. Don't get me okay. You've had 2 bad outings, right? 2 against Cleburne, and then the 12 runs that you give up against Chicago. That's going to happen. Every team's going to go through that. It just gets magnified because you're 6-15.
Well, okay. So you mentioned something about Chicago. Chicago was only, I believe Chicago was in 5th place for a while there, 4th place for a while there. The difference was they got Teeter, and that's the difference that it makes, And so it's one of those things where we just get one guy to fix the second/shortstop issue. One guy. You pay the money for him. You do what you got to do to get him, and we need to have a guy that's going to be, reliable. That's how many times, if we go back to the podcast and we listen to them all, how many times do we say that consistency was what we needed this year? I mean, 1,000 times, 2,000 times did we say that the key to this year was consistency? Well, we're consistently losing games, but we need consistent hitting, and our batting averages are going down, and we're not making adjustments. How many times you watch a basketball game, and at the halftime a team's down by 10. And then the team comes back out there and does the same exact thing they've been doing, to be down by 10 and expect to be up by 10. That never happens. They go into halftime and make adjustments, right? So when you've got a guy like Barron going out there and the whole field shifts to right, why haven't you shown that guy how to just tap the ball to left field? Why haven't you shown him how to do that yet?
But here's the crazy part about that, right? Is when Andrew was talking to Barron, obviously not during the games going on, but in their off time, Barron says when he's feeling good, right? When he's on it, he's taking the ball and hitting it left center in the alleyway there. So when he's feeling good, being a left-handed batter, he's taking it the opposite way. So I'm surprised his approach more isn't taking the ball to left field instead of right field. But again, he's a guy that has power, and where's his best opportunity when you're playing at the steel yard to hit out as a left-handed batter?
No, I understand that. I understand that. But when we're down 12 to whatever, we don't need a home run.
I agree, but it's
not for you to spread out that spray chart. If you look at his spray chart, everything is center field, right field. And it's an opportunity for him to change that spray chart so that the next game, they're not loading up people in right field. You have to take advantage of those things to better yourself for the team later on. Just like, yeah, that's great that, you know what? LG was killing the ball. He was killing the ball this past 3 games. Okay? To people, right? Hit a home run. What did he do when we needed him the most? Laid down a bunt. Moved the guy over to second base. What did that cause? Us to win a game. Right? So,
yeah.
Same thing. Dude, find out. If you can't figure out how to bunt, do a half swing. Do something to get that ball to left field so that these guys stop piling up on the right side. You got to do that.
But here's the issue. I like small ball. Don't get me wrong. I like sometimes playing station to station or playing the chess match of, try to steal third maybe once in a while, lay down a good bunt in a while. But when you're in those opportunities every single game, it gets a little repetitive, and you're taking away strengths from other people. You have a Jose Contreras trying to lay down a bunt. You're trying to convince me that you should have Baron Ratcliffe lay down a bunt because he has the left side of the field wide open. Yeah, cool. That's all good in theory and everything. That's fine. But you're taking away people's strength. LG Castillo, he laid out a great bunt. Don't get me wrong, but that's not his. The problem is there's too many people that are you're taking too many people out of their comfort zone. It's just telling me that you're not producing when you're supposed to be producing. It's all the time. It's not these small little towards the end of the game. It's every game, and there's a reason why you only won 6 games.
You're right. If Barron is in a situation where we need a hit, and you've got 9 players playing in right field trying to shake down his fly ball, we should say, Barron, hit it to right field, and let's just pray the wind's blowing in the right direction. If not, one of those 9 guys.
I'm not disagreeing with the fact that you should be able to play against the chip. I'm saying that you should not be relying on a guy that does not bunt the ball to where it's supposed to be open. That's a no. If you have a team full of Joe Swazies and Jarish Richards and an Elvis Peralta, if you give me 9 of those guys, by all means, do whatever the hell you want. All right, but we don't have that. We have 3 of those guys. Everyone else is either a power hitter or somewhere in between, right? So you're taking, again, a square peg and trying to put in a triangle hole, right? It's just not working.
Have you seen the video where there's one of those toys that you're talking about?
Yes.
And they have all the different shapes, but the round shape is bigger than all the other ones. And so the guy just takes the round one and puts it in, and then he takes the square one and it also fits in the round one. It takes the triangle one and starts put it in the circle one, right? So I want these guys to be well-rounded. And you know that we play in the steel yard.
But they're not. But again, if you want a bunch of people that are well-rounded, we don't have them. I'm sorry.
Round them.
You can't. I know you're this. Listen. You are past that point. All right. These are quote unquote professional baseball players. They've been playing baseball for probably over 20 years of their life. Right. They have way more experience than I do. Right. But here's the thing: when you teach, when a dog, an old dog, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. All right. So you're telling a Baron Ratcliffe, hey, what I really want you to do, I know we brought you in. You have really good power numbers. What we want you to do now is I really want you to practice on bunting the ball to the left side of the field when we're down by 12 runs, because that's what I need you to do right now. It's not happening. I'm sorry. That's insane. That is absolutely insane.
Why not?
Because I would rather Barron swing at a ball and more likely hit the ball and go out of the ballpark than him try to bunt the ball and then have the guy behind him try to hit him in when he's probably going to look at the third strike right down the middle of the plate and go nowhere anyways. So guess what? We're in the same result. Okay, so that's the point behind it is I understand that if you have people behind you that are going to keep moving along. But when you look at the RailCats roster and their lineup, the further you keep going down, the less likely you're going to get a hit. So why would you take one of your best hitters and have him bunt the ball when no one else is going to get him in? That's my point. Like, I would rather take the solo home run than him try to bunt over and then the next three guys strike out.
Because there is a very good opportunity that down the road, you're going to need to be able to utilize that tool. Whether it's a guy on third and you need to win the game and you've got one out, or a guy on second that you need to move to third, and they shift everybody over so that there's the opportunity for you to get a guy on base, not risking out, and move a guy over or move a guy in.
Okay, that's fine. But when you're down by 12 runs, that's not when to do it.
No, but that's a good time for him to practice it. But going back to what I was saying, we did the same thing. We had a guy, the Chicago Dogs had a guy on third base. And where's our third baseman that's supposed to be holding him on?
Nowhere to be found.
2 foot away from second base. Like, okay, what are you going to do? This guy's almost halfway down the line, at third base, almost halfway down the line, and you're just staring at him because you can't pick him off. And there was one time that he stepped off and started to walk towards the guy. There was a time where the catcher started walking towards the guy, and it's like, what are you going to do? Your third baseman is sitting there playing, There's just stupid stuff. We just play stupid baseball.
I don't disagree, and that's.
Here's another thing. Here's another thing that pisses me off. Show these guys how to bunt. Guess what? There's 2 different ways to bunt. There's the pitcher just put his foot on the mound, and let me show everybody in the world that I'm going to bunt, so that everybody knows. Let's all run in and be 3 feet away from home plate when I bunt the ball, so you can try to catch it. Right? There's that play, and then there's the let's wait till the guy's about ready to release the ball, and then we'll show that we're going to bunt, so that these guys that are playing towards the outfield can now have to run in and don't have to worry about, they're going to catch the ball when I bunt it, like we had somebody do the other day. We haven't shown these guys that technique. They don't understand how to do that.
No, because bunting's a lost art, Chuck. Your days, and even
my days.
Well, yes, I everyone knew how to bunt in your days. I'm sorry, because that's the way you had to play baseball.
And now everybody loves the long ball.
And where does that gotten us? Absolutely nowhere. So, but it works for some teams. Look at freaking Cleburne. They're just a launching pad in general. But that's nor here nor there on that portion of it. It's just I don't feel our biggest issue is that we just don't. The game that we won against Fargo, what are the handful of things that we did right? We took walks.
Of course.
We ate pitches.
Yeah.
And we battled. What did we do against Chicago? We struck out. We swung at the first pitch. And we didn't take our cookies when we needed. When we did have the opportunities, we struck out looking.
Yep. You're right. That's another part of the other part of the machine, right? That we talked about I've mentioned it over and over again. You have to be selective with your pitches. You have to try to have quality at bats every single time. We've got a guy that goes up there, Basabe goes up there and hits 10 foul balls. That's
Mhm.
great. Even if you don't get on base, you still did your job, you know. And then we got other guys that I forgot who it was, but I'm like, I looked away for a second and I looked back and I'm like, struck out. There was 3 pitches. What the heck? You know? Yeah. We need to definitely be working on those quality at bats, trying to get those walks. I believe that the reason why we haven't been getting the walks is because we don't have a good walk song that gets played whenever we get that walk.
Okay, Chuck, listen. Let's have a little reality check here, Chuck. All right. Okay, so Chuck sends me this video clip of the long
You'll
chants
play
that
it.
these
Yeah.
softball girls do. And I'm in the middle of work and whatever the case may be. And he goes, "You should listen to the second one." I didn't listen to the second one. Anyways, I get to the game and it's
Wow.
I,
You didn't listen to it?
no, I didn't. I'm in the middle of work, Chuck. Anyways, so Chuck's like, "Hey, we got to do this chant every time we walk, right?" So
Yeah.
the first time that we walk, where's Chuck? Nowhere to be found. Well, can't do it then. Second time we walk, where's Chuck? Oh, he's on the phone doing something. He's not even paying attention to the game. Whatever the case may be. So and then all of a sudden, yesterday we walk and Chuck's doing the chant, and he turns and looks at me and goes, why are you not doing the chant? I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, it's the first inning. Typically, you gotta wait till the 7th inning when the game's already out of hand to start doing it.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we do love free bases, but we don't get them that much.
Right. I know. That's why we love them. Right. They're like cookies.
I think we should still go with the
Yeah.
Texas A&M chant. I think that's a lot cooler.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, you get the
We
whole
love
crowd
free
going. You get to rattle the pitcher,
We love free bases. We love free bases.
and then you
Come
gotta
on.
act like you're having rabies. Like, oh, we got bases.
and then ball 5 and ball 6. You
Yeah,
gotta be allowed-
that's the Texas A&M chant.
Wow.
You got everyone. You ball 5, ball, and then 6, and you just keep
Right.
going with it. But you gotta get.
Right.
And, you know what? Hear me out. Okay, fine. We'll get off of baseball a second. Or well, it's baseball related, but like play.
Yeah.
I think we need, other than the cowbells, right? I think we need like a RailCats tradition. Like we need something when you go to the ballpark, other than the chicken dance and the cowbells, right? Some kind of chant, something that we all can do something with.
That like when you go to the hockey games, you
Yes.
see and I was thinking about that too. It's funny you mentioned that because I was like, hey, you go to the United Center. What's the one thing you notice about the United Center when you go to see Blackhawks play? What's the one thing that's like crazy insane?
The national anthem.
The national anthem, right? Who sings the national anthem?
Ch-
Everybody does.
Oh yeah, well,
Right?
it's more cheering and clapping and
It is.
and whatnot, but
Right? But you go crazy
yes,
at the national anthem, right? And in Nashville, when I went to go see the Predators play, they have a chant when the goalie for the other team gives up a goal,
Mhm.
and they just totally badmouth the goalie, and you suck, it's all your fault, right? But the whole crowd
yes.
does it, right? And we've got nothing. We should totally have something.
I honestly like, I just something that people know, right? I get it's baseball, and there's not like a lot of those weird kind of traditions in baseball because it's more of a sophisticated sport, whatever the case may be. Bring me like the soccer MLS kind of like those weird they have their crazy things. Just give me a weird cult of some sort of someone coming in and doing something weird, and we all just kind of bandwagon together. Like that everyone knows you can make T-shirts out of. Like when you go to the steel yard, like this is what you're gonna hear, right? I wish there was something like that. I know you don't get a lot of that in baseball, but this would be an opportunity to do something.
We need something like that. We need something that when, people are going to tell their friends what they did for the weekend, they could say, I went to a RailCats game and you would not believe what they do at the RailCats games. Oh my goodness. That's what we need. What's that going to be?
I have no idea. The free bases thing, that's not taken on.
I don't think that we've given it a chance.
I honestly think what needs to happen is if we're gonna do a chant like that, if we're gonna come up with something, we need to sit more by home plate, right, to get the rest of the fans involved, because we like to sit out there over in right field by the dugout on the right side there, and I don't think you really get a lot of what you call quote unquote diehard fans. So they're not really going to catch on to it, and you're sitting by the away dugout, and they just probably find it more of a nuisance than anything. So like getting the people involved, but you got the one guy that sits by the bar and says, "Let's go RailCats" when they're down by 10 runs and it's the ninth inning, and you got that guy. That guy's cool.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. It would be cool if we had like chants for players. That would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
Every time the guy steals a base, Richard steals a base, we could have some crazy loud chant that we tell the catcher that he sucks or something like that, just like something like crazy like that. I don't know. We could come up with something, I guess.
Yeah, we gotta figure something out. And then once we get together, like we gotta get with the promotions team, like, get a big billboard of it. Like I think that's no. You have the graphic.
They won't do anything to help support craziness in the stands.
Why not?
I don't know.
I doubt.
I feel like,
I think if you really went up to Noel and you're like, hey, listen, like this is what we want to do. We want to try it out, right? We want to give it a shot.
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you. You go ahead and run with that. I don't think it's going to happen. And here's so like one thing we're not doing very good this season that I've noticed is there's been some difference in between inning promotion type things, right? That's cool and all, right? But it's like the t-shirt toss. You're going to have a half an inning, 2 minutes long, of a t-shirt toss where a guy on the first base side comes out, throws 2 t-shirts, and then turns around and walks away. And they haven't even announced the t-shirt toss yet. It's like a Pulse Technology t-shirt toss. Who needs clean laundry? And then the guy's done. And it's like, okay, where are you tossing t-shirts at? There's no, come on. That has happened over and over and over again. And they're like, instead of getting the guys hyped up and trying to get the crowd going crazy, they're playing see how fast I can throw all 6 of these t-shirts so that I can hurry up and get off the dugout. That's just, you're not bringing the crowd into it.
Okay. This brings up my point that I think not on Sunday, but on Friday we talked about, right? We talked about the fan of the game. Okay.
Right. Not wearing RailCat stuff.
Listen. I thought maybe I was gonna get the fan of the game on Sunday. I thought maybe. Okay. I come walking in with my dogs, with the boys. Okay. Right. I got the Chuck Bucket hat on, but I got the pinstripe RailCats. Got the keys, got the hat, got everything going on, right? Got the boys. I'm walking in and Noel takes a picture of the boys. Do the boys make it on? Yeah, they make it on the Facebook post, the Twitter post, and all that other stuff. But who gets the fan of the game? I don't know, some golden doodle and some lady that's not even wearing RailCat stuff. Like, how many on it? Chuck.
Not wearing RailCat stuff.
So this leads me to my point of the t-shirts, right? T-shirt toss. And maybe you hold off on doing all the t-shirts all the time. Maybe you do something different. I don't know. But you're telling me that you couldn't take 1 or 2 of those t-shirts and have Pulse Technology or whoever, maybe someone else sponsor. I think it's Xfinity's sponsors the fan of the game. Have a t-shirt that says fan of the game on it. Right. And you have them take a picture in that. So that way they're at least wearing RailCat stuff.
We talked about this.
Yeah, that's what we talked about, not on the podcast, but we talked about this.
So that they can have a t-shirt for the picture, right? Something like that, right? And then Pulse Technologies, hey, when I hear Pulse Technologies, I think, hey, should be the Taser fan of the game where they get tased, right? I mean, come on. Pulse Technology, that sounds like tasing to me.
They'll bring back Rascal, and all you get is the tase of the game, and you got the fan running across the outfield, and you got Rascal with the taser going, "Come here, boy," and just like start tasing them. Like I don't.
There you go. There you go.
I,
We've lost the plot here. But
bringing it back in, I'm just saying, like, again, you take away the yes, you want to be professional. You want to run yourself as a professional organization. I understand that, but at some point you have to divide between entertainment when the game is being blown out. Obviously, there's no entertainment on the field. So what else are you going to do to keep fans entertained? You have to have something going. Like I personally think I think it does people a disjustice when you say fans of the game and they're not wearing RailCat stuff. Not even giving them the common courtesy of giving them something RailCats gear to wear. And I don't know. Here's a brilliant idea. Take an observation of the people that are there. Like, I get that you want to try to bring people in and want to keep people. But I haven't seen, other than the one time last year when you're in your sling and I had to go over the promotions team and say, hey, that guy just had surgery. He comes here every game. He just had surgery. You may want to go take a picture of that guy. Yeah. Right? Or go to the outfield and you got Paulie, you got Jim, you got Keith, you got all the handful of people that come to every game out there. Take a picture of them. Once you've taken pictures of all of them, then you can start picking out new people. But out of all the people that come in that they have some kind of RailCat stuff on, you pick the one person that doesn't. I'm sorry, that doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah. Well, I say this is what I say. You pick those people out that don't have RailCat stuff because maybe they're new, maybe they haven't been to games, who knows, right? And you give them some t-shirts and you have them throw those t-shirts on, take the picture, and now they're the fan of the game. And they get to go home with some t-shirts and they get to go home with hey, I had a great experience and these are my souvenirs, something to that effect would be pretty cool. But that being said, I don't know. Like promotion wise, I like the way things were 3 years ago. I feel like 3 years ago things were tightly ran ship when it came to promotions. And I know that we had a year or 2 years where we really didn't have anybody do it. Now Noelle is doing it, and she's doing it from, we've gotten an increase or way better at the online stuff and the interacting with the team online stuff, right? And even, it's a bump up from last year on the field stuff, but there's a lot of room to grow on that, and I hope that it's growing. It's
I don't. Again, you mean this is where me and you kind of differ a little bit, and we understand there are some logistical reasons on some other stuff. On Memorial Day, the people that ship the Indiana Beach jerseys out, they came late. That's not on the team, but they're figuring something out. Like that's not on the team. I understand that. Some of the stuff, with China and the terror, whatever, all that other random stuff, like some of the stuff. And flipping over sponsors and stuff like that changes some things. But what they're doing off the field as far as like, when they're doing the Bark in the Park, they asked what the players, what animals they would like. That stuff's entertaining to get the interaction on that kind of stuff. But again, when you get people to the game, what do you do to keep them there? And here's this is I know I understand it from the business side of things and other stuff like that, but we had a group of a group of fans. Oh, there were Chicago Dog fans sitting behind me. I don't think you were hearing them talk, but they were talking about they wanted popcorn or they wanted something else. They wanted something that was by Broadway. Well, they closed at like the third inning. And they're like, well, why'd they close? Well, they don't have enough people. They don't have to start. There's not enough business, so they close it down. right? And then they ran out of popcorn. Like I guess the last day of the homestand, but
Right.
popcorn. That's something I understand that you Chuck have the wristband and you can go eat all the popcorn you want in the world. Um,
Sometimes
sometimes, but
I don't. Natasha does, not me.
even like it's the pierogies, like that stuff that you bring people to, like when they start closing those spots down. You're telling me on a Sunday you're playing Chicago. There's a lot of Chicago dog fans there. You can't just stay. Even if you have one or two people running it, at least
Right.
stay open until. I'm just that's. I get it from the business side of things, but again, that's the things that we went to Gary. This is the first time I gone there, and they closed all the concession stands down by the fifth inning, and I was left with a cheeseburger and a hot dog, and I really wanted a pierogi or a pizza.
Right.
That's
Well, so then couple that with this, right? So what was the one promotion that I was really upset that we didn't have this year?
I don't remember what I did yesterday, so
We the breast cancer
oh
one.
yeah, yeah.
I was really upset about that one, and I had talked to Anthony about it, and he said, explain to me why they didn't have it on the schedule. It wasn't something that was forgotten or whatever. But we go into Sunday's game, and it's Bark at the Park and Cancer Survivors Day.
Yeah.
Nobody said anything about that. I didn't see any promotion about that. I didn't have enough time to tell my mom, hey, let's go to a baseball game because of this. None of that stuff, right? But all of a sudden, here it is. It's been sprouted up. That bothered me on Sunday. It was, it's great that you could have certain days for certain things, but don't expect your fans to appreciate it or to do anything with it. They don't know what's going on. It'd be like having Pirates and Princess Day, but you don't tell anybody and you expect them to all dress up like pirates and princesses that day. Maybe one will show up, maybe two, right? That's it.
I'm just laughing. In years past, when you look at the promotion schedule on the website, it gives you like the list, right?
Right.
But they had this brilliant idea of doing the promotion schedule on an image,
I know.
and
They
the
just
image
changed,
is like this big, so I have to
they
sit
just
there and
changed,
squint and see.
they just changed that.
Listen, I love the team. I love what they're doing, but if it's not broke, why are we fixing it?
Yeah. Well, I think that so this is I noticed that they changed it when I was trying to figure out. I was like, I swear Indiana Beach Day said that it was a jersey auction. And I'm like, let me go look. And I pull it up and I see this picture and I'm like, what? And I'm just trying to scroll in or zoom in to see what it says. And all it says is Indiana Beach. And I'm like, it doesn't say anything about the jerseys. Maybe I'm stupid and I thought there was something there that wasn't. So I go through and try to look at some other stuff. I can't find any mention of it. And then I asked somebody and I'm like, oh, so it was supposed to be there. All right, I'm not going insane. Some of us fans are reaching that age where we are forgetting things. We really don't appreciate it when our team is trying to make us forget things on purpose and makes us feel insane.
Well, and here's the thing: it's like I understand that you're trying to be a little bit more technologically advanced, right? I understand that. But some people still use a computer. Not everyone's on their phone. Like I understand, okay, on my phone, I have the promotion schedule. I can do this.
Yep, I
Right?
did that.
I can zoom in. But as we're talking and I'm on the computer, right? I should be able to see it, right? And here's my thing: is I have the RailCats Talk website, right? I can click through all the different settings to see if it's on a tablet, if it's on the computer, if it's on a
Right.
monitor, or it's on the phone, right? And I can look and see if everything's correct, right? If you know on the computer that you can't be like on your phone where you can scroll in, maybe, just maybe, you should make it to where the people on the computer can see it.
Yeah.
That's just
I'll tell you another thing that happened on Sunday's game. What I had done is I have the family pass.
mhm.
I went through and I bought all my tickets or filled out for all my tickets for the month of May, right? Well, Sunday was June 1st, and I didn't have my June 1st ticket.
I know
So
where
I
this is
go on my
going.
phone and I try to buy tickets for June 1st, and I could not find Gary South Shore Railcats at all.
Huh, Chuck?
I went through
Didn't I just tell
and
you
Mitch told me that.
the
And I'm like,
29th?
huh. Yes. So I'm going through and I'm trying to search by venue. Okay. Steel Yard. No. US Steel Yard. No. Steel Yard. No. Gary? No. Railcats? No. Gary South Shore Railcats? No. Railcats? No. Gary South Shore Railcats again?
No.
No. I keep pushing these same freaking buttons and it's not giving me what I want. Now, I'm an IT guy. I should not have to go through this much trouble to get what I need. I shouldn't. And it just so happens that if I select location and I type in Gary, that I might be able to find the Railcats games. Maybe. And I was able to just go to the window, the will call window, and I found Alex and I said, Alex, I'm trying to buy my tickets online because I forgot to get these in advance. And I just need 2 tickets, man. This really started to be frustrating. And he's like, here's your 2 tickets. And then I got to go through the gate. And I didn't get outrageously angry like I should have until afterwards, where I'm like, okay, why do I have to get other people involved to be able to buy my tickets? It was so much easier when we had the other platform. It was so like it was just there it was.
Well, Chuck, to lower your anger, because
No,
me, not the angry type whatsoever. I don't ever go ballistic for whatever reason. As I come the 29th and I go, oh crap, I for somehow skipped over the 29th when I was doing all of my games, going the same thing. Gary, South Shore, Railcats, enter, Cleburne. At
yep,
Cleburne. Nope, that's not what I want.
yep.
I'm frustrated. Why am I so frustrated? My wife's like, it's all right. We got time, and the gates the gates are opening, and I like to be in there when the gates are opening, right?
Right?
So what did I have to do? I had to go all the way back to the railcats.com, the railcatsbaseball.com, go to tickets, single tickets. Then they got me to the link to go to Tixer, which then opened my app, which then led me to the Railcats, so I could buy my tickets. I get
Oh.
it. This is nothing. The Railcat. This is something that the American Association went out and was like, hey, we're gonna unify everyone and we're gonna get everyone the same platform for using tickets, even if it sucks, and you're going to use it. So it's not really on the Railcats portion of it's more Tixer, because I'm sorry if they are a partner with you, no matter how small or niche it is, you should be able to at least find them and not the Cleburne Railroaders, which doesn't make any sense because it says Gary South Shore Railcats right on it. Why can't I just click on, there's a lot of places you can go that you can click on the name, right, and it leads you right to where you need to go. So again, Chuck, here's
And I want to say something here. We're going off about this, but this is absolutely no reflection on Alex and the job that he does.
No.
Alex does a fantastic job, and he's only using the cards that he's been dealt.
Yes.
Right, and it's not a good situation. I'm surprised. Normally what I do for the past 4 years when I've been buying these tickets is the moment that I can get single season tickets, I sit at the computer and I just order all of my tickets. But this year I decided, you know what? I don't really want to spend the time sitting in front of the computer because it is very painful for me to sit there and do all of that and pick all these tickets. I should be able to just say, hey, I get 5 tickets per game. They're all general admission.
Mm-hmm.
So guess what? 5 tickets per game. Click. Here's all my 5 tickets. Here's my 50 emails with the tickets for each one, and be done with it. It should be that simple, and it's not. So I said, you know what? I'm just going to do 1 month at a time. That way I'm not spending a lot of time trying to do this stuff and I can go about my life. And this is the first time that I've had to go online and buy tickets like that. And if it's this kind of a hassle, I'll tell you what, if I wasn't invested in RailCats and I didn't enjoy myself as much as I did, I'd never come back. That right there would be something that would keep me from ever coming back.
And here's the kicker, right? So this is the beauty of having a dual monitor system and being able to hotkey a bunch of stuff and then being able to do it really quick and blow through stuff. And I was on a roll, right? I got about halfway through. It was like, oh, it's a bot. It's a bot. It's a robot. You're moving too fast. So we're gonna shut you down from your website. So you can't do it. How do you know? I'm just superhuman, Chuck. That's what I'm just superhuman that they think that I'm a computer, that I'm buying these tickets that I've already purchased. I'm not. They're free tickets. It's not like I'm botting a bunch of tickets. I just,
right.
It just and again, I know that we're going on these tangents, and this really is not a reflection upon the day-to-day operation side of thing. I think it's more of the frustration of what we're getting on the field. We know we have talented people. They're just not clicking, and it's just irritating because it's the same thing over and over and over. So we just have something more interesting to talk about, I guess. I don't know. And coming off on homestand, you just got the homestand feeling, and you're talking about what you saw, whatever the case may be. I just, Chuck,
breathe. It's okay. Breathe.
It's just
wait till we go on like a 10-game winning streak.
I hope for that. I hope that I can sit here and go, man, look at what we did. Player X or Richards went off, or Castillo was great. We Chris Irwin is dominating the mounds and getting the credit for it, not getting a no decision or a loss because our offense can't compete, or whatever the case may be. Like, it would be fun. It would be going to the standings and be like, oh my, Chuck, we're fourth or fifth. We're there. We're moving up, and versus going, okay, we have 6 wins. Last week we were half a game back. Now we're 3 games back. Everyone else is starting to win games, and we're still stuck in the mud. It's just like
everybody else has been making adjustments, and we're still playing that second quarter the same way we did the first.
Are you sure it's the second quarter? I still think we're sitting at the first drive.
I don't know, man. I'm this is the way I'm looking at it. I believe that Lamar is making some changes. I believe that I have to trust the system.
Chuck, as much as
don't trust the system.
As much, Chuck, I was from day one, first year, second year, all on board with Lamar, right? This guy knows what he's doing. He knows how to manage a game. He's been doing great. He's just got to make the connections. You got to put it all together. Fast forward 2 more years, Chuck. Where are we sitting? Where are we sitting?
Well, I'm on a podcast, so that's pretty cool.
Okay, yeah, you're sitting on a podcast. That's really cool. My point behind it is when are things going to change? Right?
They are changing. They are changing. Let me tell you something that's changed. I go in this last game on Sunday, right? Game on Sunday. And I called Jason over. And I said, Jason, I need you to get thrown out of this game. And he just looks at me. And he goes, oh, Hoover already did. I said, what? He goes, yeah, Hoover got ejected.
That's who got my wife said to me, hey, someone got ejected. I didn't see who it was, so I didn't say anything. I'm like, I
didn't see anything. My thing is that, dude, if you're getting ejected, you better go out on that field and raise a stink. Don't sit there and let them just throw you out. But no mention of it on the recap of the game. No mention of it. There was a couple of times that there's been. I'm like looking at the game trying to figure out who got thrown out. And no mention of it.
I honestly don't think, because it was a weird, when he got tossed, it was really weird because there was a play that happened, and then everyone was focused on that, and then my wife just caught it because she was looking over to the left, and the home plate umpire looked over the dugout and did that, and someone just left. So it wasn't this big theatrical, like, if you didn't have a keen eye, you wouldn't have seen it.
I didn't see it, and I was watching everything everybody else was watching.
Well, because everything else was watching was away from the dugout. So
Hoover was pissed off that the umpire was making terrible calls.
Well,
he calls him out on it. The umpire says, "Who the F are you talking to?" So the umpire starts cussing at him. And he goes, "I'm effing talking to you. Who do you think I'm talking to?" And he threw him out. Because apparently the umpires can cuss at you now, and you can't cuss back at them.
Chuck, it's a one-way street. Do you know that?
I realize
it's a one-way street. That's not how the players are supposed to act professional, and the American Association of Umpires are supposed to not. I don't know. I don't get me started.
Yeah. What about the play that set me off on Sunday?
Oh,
you remember that one?
Yeah, I remember the play. It was Chicago stole second, and he did a little
Yes.
Yeah, he did a little swim move.
Guy on first and third.
Yeah, guy in first, third, 2 outs, and we can debate that on how they wanted to handle that in the first place. Because if it was Cooper, green light, go ahead. But Noriega, you red light that. Like, the game was still close at that point. You red light that. Like, you let them take that. I get it's 2 outs. I get it, but the runner on third, like, it didn't work the first time that they did it. Right. It's not going to work this time. I'm sorry. But anyways, did a swim move, slid off the bag, but got back on. He was safe. Like, there was an admit that he was safe. But the kicker to that was how long did it take the umpire to make that call?
Yep.
Way too freaking long.
Yeah.
And everyone thought he was out, and that's why Peralta didn't throw the ball.
Right. So you've got the ball gets thrown down to second base. Peralta catches the ball, tags the guy, believes that the guy's out, looks at the umpire. The umpire don't know if his hand was shoved somewhere it shouldn't have been, whether he was just in the middle of eating some nachos, what was going on. But he's like looking at him all like he's lost. Like you ever see Quantum Leap where the guy like jumps into somebody else's body in a different time zone or different time, and he's like, "Where am I?" That's what the umpire looked like. It looked like he had no idea where he was at, and he's looking at second base like he's some sort of an inspector. And meanwhile, the guy's already ran from third home. We're just waiting for the call. Was he safe or was he out? Because if he's out, I got to go back to the dugout. And if he's safe, I got to throw it home. But I'm not going to throw it home if the guy was out. Because I believe he was out.
Yeah.
Right? So make your call. Instead, the guy looks like he just showed up on the planet, and it takes him 20 seconds to make the call. And it's like, oh, okay, what the heck?
Yeah, and they're even bringing it back with the strikeouts, right? I get being dramatic and bringing a guy up, but waiting 30 seconds to ring a guy up makes no sense. We are not. I'm sorry. I'm here. Let me let you know a little secret here. The American Association. Listen. I could care less about your umpires, right? I could care less.
I just want them to do
I want them to call a fair game, right? And I don't need the theatrics.
No.
This 30 seconds crap ain't gonna cut it. Stop doing it. I'm sorry.
When the guy throws the ball, right? The pitcher. Let's just say it's I don't know, 2 balls, 2 strikes, and the pitcher throws the ball, and the catcher frames it, and then the catcher throws the ball back to the pitcher, and he's in the process of throwing it back to the pitcher, and the umpire calls the strike. It's like, come on, dude. That was way too long for you to be holding on to that. Woo, look at me. That's strike 3. No, that's, I mean, and there was a moment where I believe, I can't remember who we were facing, where the visiting team went to the first base umpire and said, "You need to take care of your guy because it should not be taking that long for him to say strike 3." And he goes, I know. I'm going to go talk to him. So I mean, there's obviously an issue here that these guys cussing at at the players, not being professional, not taking forever to make a call at second base, pretending like, I mean, it's these umpires. I don't know if they take their training course from watching some of these movies or whatever, but whatever it is, it's absolutely insane. You know, these guys. I was just, you remember? I think it's the Naked Gun 2.5 or something like that, where uh, Liam Neeson is, or whatever his name was, is an umpire, and he's like dancing around and all that stuff for strike three. That's, I think where these guys get it from.
Here, this really makes me think. Okay, so on Facebook, I got tagged. Well, the RailCats got tagged, and then I got tagged. They think that we're affiliates and all, which we're not. But a Melissa Furman said in a Facebook post, "Your youngest favorite fan, Jarius Richards," which is looks like her kid's holding a baseball from Jarius Richards, and I shared it, and she said, "Thanks for sharing. My husband used to umpire for the AA. Now he's in the Frontier, and actually knew Jarius Richards when he was on with Windy City. Small world." Makes me wonder, maybe umpires are jumping ship because they realize how bad the American Association is. So, like, you know what? We're not. Our umpire, they have no standards there. They get to cuss at the players. They wait forever to make calls, and they're indecisive. Maybe they're just like jump ships go over the case. But anyway, a cute story. But anyway, that's just before okay.
Yeah.
This is
reel it back.
Reel it back. This is something that needs to be a little bit better on the RailCat side, but also on the American Association side. So let me ask you this, Chuck. Last year with the American Association, we got the daily whip around, right?
Yes.
Haven't seen that.
Okay. Times are tough.
Sure. I don't know what Matt Yates' purpose is. I'm not a bashing against him. It's more of like, what is the American Association doing with him, sort of deal.
Cost cutting.
2, weekly players, the American Association Players of the Week. I haven't seen any of that. The times must be really tough. But we did see an appearance from Matt Yazel talking about Elvis Peralta's when they went to Milwaukee, and Elvis spent 30 minutes with a Little League team or a youth baseball team talking about baseball. Here's a crazy thought in my mind. I don't know. We have technology, right? Why not, I don't know, reach out to Elvis, get him on, spotlight him more than just doing a 2-minute segment? Or why hasn't the RailCats jumped all over this? Like, they should have been the first ones to do this. Like, jump all over it. Get those kids on, or whatever the case may be. Talk about the story, because it's an interesting story. He spent 30 minutes out of his day with these young baseball players to talk about baseball.
Right.
Why is this not a story? It's not a 2-minute clip of, oh, Elvis did this. Good job, Elvis, and that's it.
Right.
That's my 2 cents.
If it was somebody from the Chicago Dogs, it would have been statewide news.
Plastered. It would have been.
If it was somebody with flea burn, it would have been all over the place. If it was Fargo, we would have billboards dedicated to it. But because it's Gary, Indiana, we get 2 minutes. Just like the whip around, right? We can have the best game in the world in Gary. We're allocated, about 2.5 seconds? And that 2.5 seconds is going to show the other team hitting 2 home runs.
Yeah.
And nothing about Gary. Maybe, this happened. The other team hit 2 home runs. Gary ended up winning. Off to talk about 45 minutes about Chicago Dogs. Yeah, it's not fair. It's never going to be fair. I've learned to accept it. It's unfortunate. Just like my thing about, I think that having these carbless logos on the side of the helmets is absolutely ridiculous. I'm like, wait a second. Chicago doesn't have these emblems, these logos on the side of their helmets. Why doesn't Chicago have to follow the same stupid rules that everybody else does? Oh, wait a second. Chicago, and Winnipeg, and I believe it's Kane County, all have an agreement with Miller. So they don't have to abide by the same things that everybody else does. Oh, okay. Must be nice. How about you tell them, guess what, guys? I know you have an agreement with Miller, but you have to cancel that agreement because we have a league-wide agreement with Carbless or whoever, right? But no, we won't do that because we don't want to take the rich people, the money away from the rich people, and have them have to follow the same rules everybody else does.
Yeah,
Wow.
wow.
We really are bitter fans. This is ridiculous.
Well, you're more bitter about that than I am. I care less about other people's sponsorships on that front. Looking forward, by the time that this is put out, it'll be Tuesday. We start a series against Lake Country, and then we play Milwaukee again at Milwaukee. I'm not gonna put any predictions out there because Chuck, I have a feeling we're just gonna see a repeat. I just, unless something miracle happens, this is where we stand. We are last again. We are 3 games out from 5th, which is 3 games out from 4th. So when we face Milwaukee, we could potentially move up if we swept them. But then we have to play Lake Country, who's 11-9, which they struggle a little bit. They're 3-7 the past 10 games, but at Lake Country, so it'll be interesting. I think they're going to be high-scoring games. I think those typically ones are because it's just in Lake Country. So we may see more of not the level of the Railroaders, but we may see a little bit of inflation on the ERA side of things just because of that. Since I got caught with the final thought that I stole from 32 Thoughts podcast, but Paulie said I stole it from This Week Association, so I guess I'm going to have to change it. So, Chuck, what are your final senses of the week? What's your 2 cents of the week?
My 2 cents of the week. I need to see that we're trying to plug these holes in the boat. At least an attempt to try to plug the holes. In other words, don't bring in a guy that's a below 200 hitter to replace a guy that's below a 200 hitter. Don't bring in a guy to play a position that has 10 errors to replace a guy that's playing the position that has 10 errors. Don't do that. Show me some upgrades. Bring in some guys that are going to make a difference. All the other teams are doing it, so I know it's possible, right? So make it happen. I need to see that. I need to see that from this team. That's my final 2 cents.
All right, well, I got nothing. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, rest of your evening, whenever you're watching this. And go Cats.
Go Cats.
The 0-2. Swing and a miss, strike 3. Wrap this one up in green and